Good morning, everybody. This morning's session, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing. And I like to talk about the 5 radical rules of marketing. I don't know how radical they are, but there's 5 things I think that especially small businesses always need to keep in mind when they do marketing to ensure that the marketing is effective and, most importantly, cost effective. Before I go into the 5 rules of marketing, I want to remind you, if you've ever learned anything about marketing, I see they even do it in grade 7 in school these days. One of the first things they teach you is the P's of marketing. And the P's of marketing is price, product, place, promotion, and then also people. I want to remind you of these because marketing is often thought of as an advertisement in a newspaper, as a pamphlet that I hand out, as a business card that I hand out. But marketing is all of these things. And if you remember that every aspect of your business, every P that you use in your business is an opportunity to build your businesses to build your business, the awareness of your business with the client. So if you look at pricing your product is a way to communicate to the client something about your business. So if you are lower priced, you could be communicating value to your client. You could be communicating that we are there to help the client that can't afford the expensive service. Pricing at a high price can, in contrast, communicate to the client that we offer quality. If you think about a brand like Woolworths, the perception of their prices is that they're high, but we all know that Woolworths gives a quality product. So price says something about your business. Don't be afraid to use price as a way to communicate that I am the best at what I do or that I offer a quality service. Obviously, the product or service that you offer is a way to communicate to your client. The better the service that you give, the better your clients believe in your product or your business. Place is all about where I offer my service or my product. Place could be where am I located. Place could also be where I'm willing to travel to give the client the service. Then, of course, we get promotion, and promotion is typically what, or is part of what we consider typical advertising. But promotion could also be special offers. It could be competitions. It could be anything where you are offering the service at a special price or where you are telling the client about your service. So promotion is all about getting people to know about your product. And then I think we often forget about the importance of our people in the way that we market. I've often heard of small businesses who, you ask them what type of marketing do you do? And then they say, you know what, I do very little marketing. People always just come to me. And the reason they come to me is because of the people that I have or the quality of service that the people offer. So here we're talking about customer service. We're talking about the presence of the people, the look and feel of the business. So please remember that even though we're going to talk about the rules of marketing, every aspect of your business is an opportunity to communicate to the client something about your business, whether it's price, whether it's the service that you offer, whether it's the place or the look and feel of your business. And then I'm even talking about vehicles, the promotions that we do, or the people that offer that service. So traditionally, when we study marketing, we learn about the marketing strategy. And it's a complicated process with many, many steps. First, we have to identify the market. Then we have to segment the market. Then we select a target within that segment. Very important is to position your business. Then we have to identify what budget we're going to spend, what campaign we're going to do, in what media. We have to implement that plan, and then we measure. So the 5 rules of marketing is kind of a summary of this marketing strategy. So the first rule is fish where the fish are. I'll explain that in a minute. Rule number 2 is spend when people have money. 3, add value, don't discount. 4, dominate your media and measure your efforts. So if you can remember those 5, you don't have to worry so much about all the steps in developing a marketing strategy. So what do we mean when we say fish where the fish are? And you'll see this relates to market and segmentation. So if I were to show you the following 2 groups of fishes. On the one side, we have a shoal of fishes. It's thousands and thousands of fish. I send my boat out. I put a net in. I catch all of these fish. It's quite expensive because I have to put a boat into sea. I have to spend lots of money to go get all those fish, but you're guaranteed you're going to get a lot of fish. On the right-hand side of the screen, you've got this one little goldfish. He's already in a plastic bag. He's already been caught. You know where he is. You know who he is. So which of these 2 would be the best place to go fishing? So the answer would be dependent on your business. Now, because most of us have fairly small businesses, to go out into mass media and advertise on radio and television and newspapers in order to catch all those big fish probably won't be worth our while in the long run. On the other hand, going to fish where we already know where they are, it's someone that I know I can help, it's someone that I know will need my service in the future, will probably be a better option. So what we mean by fish where the fish are is understand who your customer is. It's a lot easier to do some direct marketing to that goldfish that already needs your service and that you already know you can support than to spend loads of money on very expensive marketing. So we'll talk now a little bit about what are the things that we can do to catch this goldfish. Okay, please don't get me wrong. There's nothing saying you can't go catch the many fishes, but for most small businesses, it's a lot easier to do direct marketing where you're focusing on a customer that you already have a pretty good idea could be your customer. Okay, how do we know who that customer is? And that's where segmentation comes in. So typically we would segment using demographic factors like age and gender and income, or we would use geographic factors, which is it a city environment? Is it a rural environment? Even coastal? So what are the geographic factors that impact on who my customer is? If it's in a city, it could then be narrowed down to certain suburbs. It could be narrowed down to certain areas within the suburbs where you know you could provide, or there are customers that would want to use your product. Okay, so in terms of segmentation, please always remember, you can't be all things to all people. The biggest mistake small businesses make is to try and be all things to all people. So what you want to do is you want to be able to take this market, take this demographic, and select a slice of the target market. Now, I always use Coca-Cola as a really good example of a brand that has selected a target market. If you think of Coke, everybody drinks Coke. Coca-Cola appeals to probably the broadest market available. However, their marketing does not appeal to the broadest market ever. Coca-Cola have segmented the market, and they've identified that their target market for their marketing are youths and young people, students. So their marketing specifically is aimed at students, young people, loving life, having lots of fun. And if you think of the advertisements for Coca-Cola that you've seen, it's always something fun and adventurous. So they advertise to that group of people. However, they get spill off from that to the old dudes who are drinking their Clippies and cola. So Coca-Cola won't advertise Clippies and cola, but because they caught the dudes when they were young with their targeted marketing, they're still drinking Coca-Cola with their Clippies. So you cannot be all things to all people, and you also can't afford to advertise to all people. So it's very important that you select a target market from all the demographics that's available out there. And in your case, I would say probably homeowners, 30s upwards, if you are specifically working within the home plumbing industry. Obviously, if you're more of a contractor and you do building contracts, then your target market will look very different to that. The next thing we have to do is communicate with that target market. So what language does that target market speak? And I want to use Nando's as an example because they are such a good example of a brand that advertise to a very specific target market, but also always have a very specific message. And the tool that we use to do this is called the major benefit chain. And Nando's is major benefit chain. So what we do with the major benefit chain is we identify what are the things that we offer that benefit the customer. And in Nando's case, taste will always be number one. And you can see in their payoff line, Nando's, taunt your taste buds. Okay. When they started, they were Taste of Portugal. So they will always use taste as their number one thing that they communicate to the client. Number two is health, the benefit of flame grilled chicken. So Nando's will always tell the people in their advertising, flame grilled chicken. And then they do spicy food. So they will always tell people in their chicken, flame grilled peri-peri chicken. Nando's then said, okay, we want to be different to our competitors, the Wimpy's and the McDonald's, those guys. We want to be environmentally friendly, and we want to be more warm and earthy instead of the plastic, yellow, red, chrome, white that all the other brands are. So they did that paper bags right from the beginning. They were the first ones who did cardboard burger boxes, and the colors in their shops are warm and earthy instead of the bright reds and yellows and plastic. They've always been soft and warm colors. And Nando's had price on their major benefit chain, but they never, in the beginning, they never advertised price. And you know, Nando's is not cheap, and they're not shy of the fact that they're not cheap. And they do that for a reason, because they offer a superior product and because they offer a healthier product in a warm and friendly environment. Okay, so Nando's used this message in all their marketing, in their branding, to advertise what it is that they offer to their target market. And then also remember what Nando's do, because their target market is adults, they've always got that little tongue-in-cheek thing that they do. So when you decide on the message that you're going to send your customer, always remember the difference between features and benefits. Features is what I do. What is it? What does it do? How much does it cost? What does it look like? Benefits is what the customer buys. So when you are selling your product, your service, or your business, always remember the customer wants to buy a benefit. He can see what it is that you do, but he wants to know how you will make his life better. He wants to know how you will affect his ego. In other words, how will you make him feel? And even with plumbing, benefits are extremely important to the customer. So the benefit of same-day call out, the benefit of saving you time, saving you money, the benefit of no mess, no fuss. What is it that you do that will make the customer's life better? Okay, so remember, when you choose your message to your target market, to your fish, how will you make the customer's life better? I just put these Nando's ads on here to remind you that for many, many years, they've been consistent. And you know exactly when it is a Nando's advertisement because it looks and feels the same. Okay, rule number 2 is spend when people have money. And what I mean by that is if you're going to be doing marketing, you need to do the marketing when you know your customer will be needing your product or service. You don't see heaters being advertised in the middle of summer. You don't see fans being advertised in the middle of winter. So rather save your money and do a proper campaign a few times a year than doing little bits every now and then that don't really have an impact. In your case, people always need your service, so we never know when it's going to be needed. But I would still recommend that you rather do fewer, bigger campaigns than lots of little things that don't impact or don't stick. Then obviously you want to make sure that you spend enough money on marketing. And as a rule of thumb, I know it sounds a lot, but good businesses spend between 2 and 5% of turnover on marketing. So think about that. And then when we do marketing, it's recommended that we spend 60% of our budget above the line. So above the line marketing is brand marketing. It's awareness creation. It's getting your name out there. 40% of our budget should be spent on below the line marketing, which is promotional marketing. In other words, marketing that we do to get calls or to get feet in the door. Typically, this would be discounts, 2-for-1s, competitions, that type of thing. Obviously, you can combine the two. There's nothing wrong with combining the below and above the line marketing. Okay. So once you know who you want to speak to, you know that you have a message, that is your campaign. So all the aspects should fit together. Choose a theme and stick to it throughout the campaign. And remember, your theme should make sure that you are communicating those benefits to the customer. Rule 3 is add value, don't discount. Guys, this is extremely important. Most customers don't feel or understand the value of less 10% or less 20%. Rather give them something than give them 10% discount. So for example, you will often see at Clicks, you get buy 3 for the price of 2, or buy 4 tires and get a free gift. So you're still discounting, really, but just by changing the wording and saying adding value, you get better feedback from the customers. So rather give them something in return, or yeah, that's it. Rather give something in return than give a discount. Rule 4 for me is probably the most important, and that is dominate your media. Now, what I mean by that is you want to stand out. You want to be noticed. You do not want to disappear into the clutter. I read a thing a few years ago that South Africans are bombarded by more than 3,700 messages, marketing messages a day. You want to be remembered amongst 3,700 marketing messages a day. So what can we do to dominate our media? Okay. And what I want to reiterate here is if you're going to be doing something, you have to be doing it properly. Don't put one little feather outside your business. Nobody's going to notice it. Rather save until you can afford 10 and do a proper job of it. when you go to a job site, make sure your vehicle is branded, and put signage outside the job site that says you are the plumber on this job. Use the opportunities of your location to market properly. I love this concept. This was a few years ago. The Virgin Active opened in the shopping mall. And these are the two roads leading to the residential areas where most of the people would come from work every afternoon. So I drove home from work and I found this guy sitting on the side of the road. There was a sign that said, "Give us your business card and we'll keep you moving with a thirst quencher." So I was interested. I gave them my business card. They gave me a liquid fruit, and the liquid fruit was handed out by these guys, all dressed smartly in their overalls with gloves, just in case I didn't feel safe about taking beverages from somebody off the street. Gave them my business card, and now I'm wondering what's going to happen. So before I even reached the next traffic stop, I'd received a text message from obviously this guy sitting in the little booth saying, "Thank you for allowing us to give you a thirst quencher. Virgin Active is opening on whatever date, and please feel free to contact us for your free tour." So that was interesting. I thought, wow, that's awesome. But what they did, and this is where I'm coming with dominating your media. These guys were here for 4 days in a row, every afternoon from 3 to 6. So even if you didn't give them your business card, there's no way that anybody living in this area had driven past there and not seen them, or not known that now there's a Virgin Active that is opening. So I really thought this was such a clever way of dominating media. So if you're going to be doing something on a street corner, if you're handing out pamphlets, don't just hand out a pamphlet. Make sure the guy is dressed in uniform, branded clothing. Make sure that you park your branded vehicle on the corner. Make sure that you put branded flags and feathers and gazebos on the corner. And then be there for 2 or 3 days in a row. In that way, you're creating awareness and you are dominating your media. So I like doing this exercise with people in a live audience, and I'm not going to unmute you all now because that'll be chaos. But I want you guys to, in your heads, play along with me. If I say 3 times 3, what is it? If I say 5 times 4, what is it? If I say 6 times 6, what is it? You all knew the answer to those 3. If I say 13 times 9, do you know the answer? No. You can work it out, but you don't know it off the top of your head. The reason we know 3 times 3 and 5 times 4 is because from grade 4, we had a teacher that used to drill it into our heads. Repetition, 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 and eventually it stuck. 13 times 9, we never learned because we never learned the 13 times table. And that is what good marketing is. And that is how we dominate, by repetition. The more you repeat, the more it gets stuck. If you've got a billboard or a sign on a rubbish bin, what are you essentially doing? You are repeating your message to people driving past there every single day. Now, somebody starts needing your service and they can't remember, or they don't know a plumber and they can't remember anybody, but they know they drive past that billboard every day. They know where to go and look to go and find your information. So don't forget to dominate your media. Okay. When you choose your media suited to reaching your target market. So where is it going to be the easiest to reach your target market? And I've got social media at the top of the list. The other one is internet. If you want to get people to find you, You have to be available on the internet. If I type in plumbers Centurion, then I want to find a list of people that are in Centurion. If you're not on that list, people aren't going to use your services. So make sure then that you dominate your media, even if it is on the internet. Okay. I just want to go through these rules of how we can dominate really quickly through our branding, a strong, consistent brand, through you as the owner operator, because we know owner operators give better service, clever advertising, noticeable. I always look at that van with it looks like the driver is sitting on a toilet. That's such a clever way of sticking into people's heads. The look and feel of your marketing message, then your efforts when you are at your customers. Okay. And then the last rule of marketing is to measure your efforts. Remember, what cannot be measured, what we don't know what we don't know. So make sure that when you do marketing, that you check what is working and what isn't working, so that you're not throwing good money after bad. Okay. So what are the 5 rules? Let's just recap before we finish up. Spend when people have money. Add value, don't discount. Dominate your media. Fish where the fish are. And measure your efforts. That's me for today.